No, I don't regret anything I said because at the end of it all, it's really it's sports entertainment. There's no such thing as bad publicity. There's no such thing as good publicity when it comes to unless it's like a murder charge or battery on a woman or something like that for fighters. So to be honest though, let me actually clarify for everybody because people think that that was just a hindsight moment with me and Crawford, but we already discussed that in Turkey's farmhouse.
Okay.
We already had
Explain what you mean.
So me and Crawford, he's coming out the room, and I'm sitting with David Benavidez. So we just waiting to get in our turn, and then we all ended up staying in the same room. Prior to that, though, Crawford, being Crawford, he wants to discuss the situation. I said, but when are we gonna still fight, though? I would want to fight, and I said 154. So my whole thing right there. But I already see that he's not gonna fight until he gets Canelo.
Right.
But anyways, to that.
So, you know, I'm all for promotion. I'm all for the ruckus. You know, I am one of those fans that, you know, if somebody throws a table, somebody slaps somebody, you know, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's, you know, let's get it popping. But the problem I have with Teofimo is he's been trying to sell this racism angle, and it's just been really off-putting. See, because it's like try hard, you know, okay, boxers do racist shit, you know, not necessarily meaning that they're racist. I mean, racist, I mean, hell. Look at one of my favorite fighters of all time, Bernard Hopkins. The problem is, Teofimo has been a bit of a head case lately. Oh, and by the way, he's been doing a lot of interviews. I've been sitting here watching them all, talking about various different things. But one thing that I have to say about Teofimo is you never know which guy's going to show up. One fight, he'll look like a superstar that he can beat anybody between 135 and, you know, 147. There's other times where it's like, yo, this guy looks like shit. In this case, with this fight, I don't know which one's going to show up. I'm not too high on Arnold Barboza. I feel Arnold Barboza's peak was a few years ago. I just think that right now it's a little bit too late. By the way, Barboza's got to win. Teofimo smacked him in his face, and it was loud, and he had makeup on when he smacked him. Let's go back down memory lane. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and TstreeT Controversy with 5U360. I kind of want to slow this down in slow motion. It was ugly. Oh, shouldn't have touched his hat.
Fuck that motherfucker, bro. Bro, he started that shit, bro.
Ooh. He did start it. He did start it. He did start it. You know, I never understood how fighters don't let nobody get that close to you, man, especially somebody as volatile as Teofimo Lopez. I mean, look at what Tank Davis did to Rolly Romero. He pushed him off a 10-foot balcony. Oh, wait, let's go back. Hold on. I want to see that again. Let's get it in slow motion. All right, as you can see, how good was the connect? Did it hit right? Did it get the cheek? It sounded like the cheek. Oh, it went up. A little friction, y'all. A little friction right there. That stung. That stung. That stung. And the thing is, how you didn't see this coming from that far away? Come on, look where it's coming from. Come on, man. And look, he tried to come on. Nope, too late. Anyway, so let's talk about these fighters, man. Listen, Arnold Barboza, 32-0 with 11 KOs. He beat Jack Catterall, you know, inch through that. He beat Jose Ramirez, you know, 2 nice, solid, quality wins. But before this, he's been really trying to, get, over the hump. Let me tell you, I started covering him. Did I fight? I think I started covering him when he fought Mike Alvarado. That's when I was like, yo, Barboza looks like he's going to be the man. But then he's been struggling to get mandatory shots, big fights. At one point in time, him and Jose Ramirez was under the same manager and didn't fight. I was never a fan of their manager for that. but he just seems to have been an underperformer. And also, even though it's not necessarily old in this day and age of boxing, he's 33 years old. He's been around for some time. So this is a nice run for him. Ramirez, Catterall, Teofimo, but can he beat Teofimo Lopez, or can Teofimo Lopez beat Teofimo Lopez? So let's go look at the and I'm going to go ahead and say it, the overrated resume of Teofimo Lopez. Now here's the thing. Just like Cambosos keep living off that Teofimo Lopez win, nearly going on 4 years ago. How long is Teofimo going to live off of that Lomachenko win? How long? Because after that, let's face it, Cambosos, Pedro Campa, Sandor Martin. Remember, a lot of people thought he lost that fight. Josh Taylor, you could argue that Josh Taylor shouldn't have been at 147. He overstayed his welcome. Josh Taylor looked like shit, but I'm just going to say he got the win, but still, I don't count it very highly. Jermaine Ortiz was, nice, solid. Steve Claggett, ill. So he can't really talk too much himself when it comes to fighting top level competition. That Lomachenko fight was too long ago. By the way, he's been up and down when it comes to what. First of all, you can't believe nothing he says. Let's just go ahead and say that. He'll say he wants to fight Boots. He'll say he wants to fight motherfucking Manny Pacquiao. He'll say he wants to fight Mike Tyson. He'll say he wants to fight, but you never know with this guy. He's turned down so much money before in the past with fights that he could have had. Whatever you think about the negotiations or the purses or whatever, he could have had significant fights. So when he talk about, I want to fight Boots and, all that type of stuff, I just don't, I don't believe it until I see it with him. I don't believe it until I see it with him, but he's been doing a lot of interviews, talking to a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong. He go off on these, for the old school wrestling fans, you know how the Ultimate Warrior would just go off on these tangents and you'd be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like where it'll start off as all right, then they'd be like, he'll be like, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of the parking lot, I seen Hulk Hogan. What are you talking about? So that's what I get from, as you can see, I'm 16 minutes into this interview. I watched this whole interview. I watched this already a couple of weeks ago, but I was going back for time bites. I just don't know. But he did say, though, that he had, and this has been well known, he was having issues with his wife and his kid. He's divorced now. Hopefully he has his kid back in his life. I know there was some issues there. And let me tell you from experience that shit will fuck you up. But I don't excuse this whole bigotry angle he was trying to sell off. And it was subtle, but it was we see what you're trying to do. By the way, for those who don't know, it's going to be on Friday, May the 2nd in Times Square. Card's going to be headlined by Ryan Garcia versus Romero, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, and Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. We don't know if there's going to be a prelims. Maybe this might be the only 3 fights because it is in Times Square after all on a Friday night. So, we haven't heard anything about there's going to be any other fighters on the card. We're 2 weeks away. This weekend will be what? Yeah, 2 weeks away. So, we're not sure. Not sure. Let's see if there's any other history here. But you can argue that outside of Lomachenko, that Barboza is the best boxer, more so. I'm not calling him necessarily a technician, but the best, I guess you can say, kind of technician. By the way, him and Ryan Garcia was linked with Eddie Reynoso, but I don't know how Eddie Reynoso even thought he was going to do it if Eddie Reynoso was going to be training Canelo for him to fight, William Skull. I'm going to be doing that video next, by the way. Remember, you got Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia fighting on the 2nd. Canelo's fighting on May the 3rd. And you got Inoue, who's going to be fighting on the next day, the 4th. So just the logistics of it is I just can't wait to see how they do it. I can't wait to see how they do it. I mean, I can't wait to see the broadcast. I can't wait to see it's going to be a free fight. I'm wondering if they're going to offer premium seating. I did go and check out some hotels, around here. I stayed here $400 a night, but that's just typical Times Square. $500 a night. So, but yeah, him fighting Boots and all that, I'm not really buying that. By the way, 147 is going to get pretty thick too. For example, you got Boots, the IBF, WBA, Mario Vargas is linked to Manny Pacquiao. Brian Norman Jr., let's see what he's going to do. The ball's in his court. You got Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, and Devin Haney, and Jose Ramirez, all confirmed to be staying at 147 pounds. Teofimo Lopez, he's saying he's not sure where he'll land. He'll say he may go up to 147 for one fight, come back down to 140, keep his ring magazine. We don't know, but if you really look at it, where's the money at 140 pounds? Unless he stays around for Tank Davis, maybe, but I can't never see. Tank is a little dude. Like, I'm talking about Tank is the smallest. Tank is smaller than Lomachenko. Like, Tank is a little guy. So even Tank versus Gary Antoine Russell going to be a big dude. So I am going with Teofimo, but once again, I am not confident in that pick and picking Teofimo to beat Arnold Barboza because he's a head case. And his father can be overbearing. With that being said, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, follow me on Twitter. And we're going to keep the ball rolling as YouTube has given me a big smack in the face over the last several months. And how it works is, for those who don't know, if you don't do content consistently, YouTube stops promoting your videos until they see that you start doing content consistently. So my views are shit right now. And the only way to get out of it is I got to stay consistent for a month. But don't get me wrong. I understand you guys' frustration about me not being consistent, but don't get me wrong. I've had good reason. And one day in the next 6-7 months, I'll be able to share everything with you. But it's been for the greater good. Trust me, when I give you the news, you're going to be like, damn, TstreeT, that's what's up. But anyway, I'm back now. A lot of time on my hands. I've been fixing up things, trying to figure out what my schedule is going to be, what my format's going to be, how I'm going to cover these fights, competing in a landscape where so many have passed me by. And I acknowledge, so many have passed me by, but I never wanted to make YouTube my primary source of income. So that's a big difference. I got some things up my sleeve to be able to. And for the long-time viewers, you know that if I'm consistent for a couple of months, I can, start pulling in major numbers. But let's see. Let me keep these things close to the chest, and we'll just play it by ear. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Expect the Canelo versus William Skull video next, and I'm going to be covering that card. So this is the last video for this Ryan Garcia Romero card. I have a preview video for all the 3 main fights. And as we get closer to the fight, I'm going to be covering all the fight week events, the press conference, the weigh-in, post-fight, fight night, and some preview videos depending on what happens in between the next 2.5 weeks. And the same thing for the William Skull card. The Canelo William Skull card, which I'm going to be coming with next. And also start expecting fight week previews again. They're not hard to do. And as you can see, I haven't shown my face on YouTube in well over a year now. It makes the content easier to get out. One day I'm going to come back, but, just trust me, hang in there. I got some good things in store. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.